North American Free Trade Agreement, or NAFTA, is a free trade area confirmed by Canada, the United States, and Mexico. It has its history back on February of 1991 when Mexico contacted the USA to establish a free trade agreement. Then, during the formal negotiations, Canada joined them. Later on January 1st of 1994, NAFTA entered into force. The main objectives of NAFTA are the free trade of goods and services, reduction of tariff and non-tariff barriers, provisions for services, investment, and intellectual property. The agreement looks for the coordination of trade rules, liberalization of restrictions on services and foreign investment, the implementation of intellectual property rights, and dispute settlement process.
Before NAFTA, tariffs of 30% or higher on export goods to Mexico were common. Additionally, Mexican tariffs on US-made products were on average 250% higher than US duties on Mexican products. NAFTA addressed these imbalances by phasing out tariffs over 15 years. Approximately 50% of the tariffs were abolished immediately when the agreement took effect, and the remaining tariffs were targeted for gradual elimination. Among these areas, there is construction, engineering, accounting, advertising, among others. In terms of non-tariff barriers, these were eliminated by 2008. This included opening the border and interior of Mexico to US truckers, as well as streamlining border processing and licensing. Non-tariff barriers were the biggest obstacle to conducting business in Mexico that small exporters faced.
Because of its size, the United States is very important to Canada and Mexico, both for exports and imports. Canada exports 75% of its merchandise to the United States and receives 51.2% of its imports from the United States. For Mexico, the numbers are 80.7% and 48.1% respectively. Although trade between Canada and Mexico has grown since the implementation of NAFTA, the US, because of its size, is still the most significant market for their firms. Some of the achieved economic benefits produced by NAFTA are the following. Mexico achieved the level of development closer to those of US and Canada. The decline of macroeconomic volatility and wild GDP growth variations in Mexico's economy. The development of continent-wide integrated supply chain has been credited to NAFTA.
According to Wilson Center, Mexico and the USA have been part of an economic integration process. Trade has tripled between 1990 and 2008, and thanks to NAFTA, Mexico is the third largest U.S. trading partner and the second biggest importer of U.S. goods, which adds up to 1/8 of all exports. 22 states depend on Mexico as they are their first or second export destination. U.S. and Mexican companies are pursuing a joint production process, where the goods are produced on both sides of the border, and several Mexican companies have become important investors in the U.S. Mexico is the leader in bakery, goods, dairy products, cement, and tortillas. Even the labor market has a lot of immigrants.
We will not talk about pending issues, agreements not reached, and failures of the agreements. We will divide this section into three, obviously, and the country we will talk about is the United States. The United States, within the failures section, has entered to this treaty hoping to get a positive balance of payments, and with it create more jobs within the country. But this was not an effect of the treaty. Contrary, the balance of payment deficit grew and positioned the United States in a bad situation where they were also starting to lose jobs. Mexico. Mexico has experimented more trouble than the United States within this treaty. Mexico poverty has increased exponentially since the treaty started. This happens because of the cheap labor Mexico offers to Canada and the United States and because of the agricultural sector. Canada. Canada has lost a lot of its automobile industry because of the cheap labor in Mexico, which means they cut out a lot of jobs as well. Canada is the country that has been the least affected or boosted by this treaty. Now, let's back to the pending issues. Pending issues: agricultural industry, the stabilization of growth of the three economies, corporate rules or stabilization of wages, prices because of the different economies' inflations, and immigration. Now, the agreement not reached. Well, Mexico and the United States haven't reached an agreement on the automobile industry, as well as Canada. Another issue that has not been reached is the agricultural industry. Even though Canada and Mexico have asked the United States to start doing a different thing or to cut that support to the agricultural sector, the United States haven't